Good morning. Excuse me. Been a little under the cold. It's November 15th. It's sunny outside. And yeah. Been a little under the weather, so I just made myself a little honey and ginger and garlic thing. Heat up some water, stirred in about a tablespoon of honey, added some ginger and garlic powder, and then sprinkled in some half and half. And I'm going to sip on that, see how that goes. Just went for a walk with the dog, Shanti. Shanti dog. Went for a little walk, and I'm feeling better than I felt in about 24 hours. So I hope that I continue to feel better as the day waxes on. We're in a waxing crescent or waxing gibbous right now, coming up on the first full moon of November, if I'm not mistaken. I wasn't paying too close attention to the last one and what was going on. But it's coming to that time of year when skiers in my area, my friends that like to ski and snowboard, it's getting pretty close to skiing time. And that's been on my mind a lot. Haven't been able to go up and tour yet. We've gotten some snow and some rain, and it's melting, which I believe is a good thing because I like to see the moisture content of the soil just get saturated really well before we get our first big blanket of snow. Seems like if we can get the ground wet and then frozen, and then the snow comes, it kind of keeps the whole mountain like a little iceberg. And our season lasts a little longer. The snow just rides a lot better. And when spring comes around, the snow isn't melting from both sides, as opposed to like when it's warm and warm and warm, and then we get a bunch of snow and the temperature drops, but that ground is still warm. And in most cases, warm and dry. So it's just sucking the moisture out of the snow. It's just deteriorating the snow from underneath all the time. So, like I said, excuse me, it's been raining and snowing a little bit, and the moisture content in the ground is for sure better this year than it was last year. So that is exciting. Just been, in a melancholy sort of mood as I've been sick and fantasizing about skiing. And this morning I got up and I meditated, and I have a little mala necklace I like to rotate through, so I do 108 breath cycles in each hand, passing these beads through my finger and thumb. And I felt so much better after I did that. And I was thinking about skiing and how when I'm touring, I like to get up to the top of the mountain and relax, Sometimes I like to go out and get rad. Sometimes I'm out chasing POW. Sometimes it's more about just hiking to the top, and that's what was on my mind right now, because it's early season. Sometimes all we're doing is hiking and a little gentle turn ski down. And what's been passing through my mind is wanting to take the opportunity, because when I get to the top of the mountain, I always take some time for myself and for others just to take it all in. Receive, the beauty of what's going on up there, whether it's daytime or nighttime. But specifically, as I was meditating this morning and laying in bed last night, in my head, I was thinking, well, I think I'd like to take time to meditate, sit down, pop out of my skis, sit down, cross my legs, and meditate. I mean, this all falls back into like my own personal philosophy on things, and what I do for myself so I can be good and good to others. And it's so easy to do, and yet sometimes so often it goes undone. So, always trying to re-up on that, revisit on that, and remember, taking my time to meditate and to breathe for me is a great thing, and why not mixing that in with a little skiing, which is also, for me, skiing is a fabulous outlet of joy and recreation, exercise, and mental health. it could be questionable whether it's physically healthy sometimes because of all the carnage. Anyway, so I'm hoping to be able to go tour soon, and when I get up to the top, sit down and just take a minute to meditate in one of the most beautiful places I could find myself this time of year. In the meantime, I will continue to be working and dreaming of snow and meditating here in my little ashram room that Kylie and I have done so well, mostly Kylie, to procure a beautiful space for yoga and vibes and meditation. And at the moment, I just think for anybody who wants to ski, who has been thinking about it all year, or at least a few times a day all year, it's really, winter to me is like a gift. And I've seen it that way for a very long time. I know other people don't handle winter so well, they don't enjoy winter so well. For me, winter's a gift. And the ability for me to ski and snowboard with my friends and really, revisit some of the most joy I've ever felt and recreate more and more joy and experience out of these opportunities is something I really look forward to. I'm super grateful for. And with that comes a certain sort of reverence around what it is. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's tons of revelry and cheap shots and laughs and jokes and poking of fun and gnarly rad shit on the hill, but there's a reverence that comes from the respect of what winter is and what the mountains are. And our current situation in the world, where we have the opportunity to so easily access and use and enjoy winter terrain in the way we do, like, it's a total miracle. And there's a reverence that I think for me I've always had, but it's so easy for it to fall underneath the much louder facets of the enjoyment in wintertime skiing. Because it's always there. The reverence for winter is always there when old man winter steps in and is, Mother Earth is just blanketed in this beautiful snow, and you stand on a mountaintop and you look at the storm roll in and you just realize the immense power that something has to totally dominate you. And the fact that it allows you to come in and enjoy at certain times what it's offering. Sometimes you have to be reminded. And, last winter for me was a lot of fun. Snow wasn't great. Had some close calls. And I think it's put me in this mental place where it's like, skiing for me is not about me going out and like getting rad and using that to better my personal like place in life amongst myself and my peers and my family. But sometimes all the rad shit can make you think that. And so for me, hoping to come into this place now where skiing is like, and not reverent in the hoity-toity type of like, you can't make a joke, but reverent in the sense when I'm taking my time out on the mountain it's almost ritualistic in the exonerating process of how I'm trying to be aware of the way it feeds me to be a better person, and how I need to be grateful for Mother Earth. Um, and that's something I'm not going to push onto my friends. I'm just going to do it myself. And I know that I have friends that do this better than me, and I have friends that never consider the thought of it. And my idea is not to put it onto them. My idea is just to practice it, and if it helps me and I can notice the betterment in myself and in my winter recreating because of it, then I can assume other people may catch on to the idea of it and want to implement it themselves. And of course, there's always a certain type of respect that needs to be given to the mountain and the sport, from, you know, just the fact that you're clicking these fucking long ass skis onto your feet and strapping these bindings down and, you know, getting out on this block of ice. Like, you also have to ride a chairlift, which, if you're at Palmerell, the 8888 is the gnarliest chairlift right now. And then if you want to go, you know, get air, you got to hope that you're on point with the wobble of the earth so you don't get smoked. If you want to go into the backcountry, you got to hope that the moisture content in the soil is good before the snow came, and that the heat hasn't been on, and that the snow isn't trash. So there's plenty of things to respect, unless you're, you know, so ignorant to the sport that you don't understand it needs respect. But I'm talking about people who are getting out after skiing because it's a lifestyle for them. These kind of people, they understand that respect. And there's huge respect that goes out. Like I mentioned, the chairlift. My buddy Zach and his guys up there at Palmerell, they have been working their asses off to make sure that these chairlifts are in tip-top shape. And they don't make enough for what they do, but they're passionate about it. And there's a certain respect there that goes into their work that you don't find in certain avenues of work necessarily. The respect for me has always been there in a way that I think is what makes skiing so good for me, and snowboarding is like when I'm about to do something, it takes such mental clarity and concentration that it's very hard to take for granted the way you need to respect each opportunity. I go bowling with my friends. I'm on a bowling league for Tuesday nights, and I was thinking the other day when I was playing and throwing a bad game, it was mostly because I was not concentrated on the game. But it's so easy for me to walk to the chair, get up, go over to the ball return, throw my ball, walk back to the chair. There's very low consequence other than I may be upset with a bad score. If I'm touring or even riding a chairlift, or if I'm setting up to hit a jump, excuse me, UPS man had a package for Kylie. But if I'm hitting a jump or that I built myself with maybe a friend or two, I gotta pack out the runway. I gotta build the jump. I gotta hike up every time I do it. Like, there's a certain level of focus to the consequence that comes with this respect. For me, it's very good for my mental. And so it's just a little different that there is a respect that's forced upon. But there's a difference between respecting something in a way and then like reverencing its power as well. And I want to be able to bring that reverencing in where it's almost second nature, like the respect thing, because it takes up so much bandwidth on the idea of this is what it is to have good success in this activity that I'm placing myself into, is to respect it, to be committed to what I'm doing, and I want the honoring of the power of it to be just as second nature. Because I suspect that, as I mentioned before, that the different fractals of enjoyment in skiing and snowboarding can sometimes seem more louder and therefore take greater place over the humility, or I mean the honoring of it. My underall like feeling and my assumption, my consensus within my heart and in myself is that that's a misnomer, and that the honoring, if that can become a forefrontal thing all the time and second nature, like the respect thing, that will be a fractal of enjoyment in skiing and snowboarding for me that turns out to be much more prominent. Because I don't want to say it's louder necessarily, but that the fruits of the experience, when that becomes in the forefront of your mind and second nature and honoring, the fruits of that are going to be far more rewarding than some of the things that at first are seemingly more enjoyable or more important or take precedence in the experience. So coming full circle on that, like, how much cooler can I have of a time skiing with my friends, getting down, getting dirty on the snow, when I'm taking that time to like meditate in the morning before I get up and go to the mountain, because I'm not waking up like maybe all hungover from the night before partying or something. I'm waking up, I'm making a coffee, sipping that down, meditating, maybe making some tea and cream to go, and then making it up to the hill, like just feeling invigorated and well, plenty of water in me on the drive up, skiing the day, or maybe just going for a hike and sitting up top, taking it in and meditating. To really take advantage of when the time's right and the stars align for the types of things that I dream about in my imagination, whether it's like the perfect wind lip paired up with, a rodeo 5 or a cork 7, or the perfect drop into a steep line, on some Cirque shit. Like, I don't have to always be searching for the rad part of skiing when I'm honoring and exonerating, when I'm honoring and exonerating the pure reverence of what winter is. So when the snow isn't always great, I can still go out and have a good time with my friends, but I'm also doing things that are just like showing the recognition of gratitude that I'm happy to be able to be up here in the snow, in the cold, and I can experience it, because there's so few people that ever get to experience it for whatever reason. And I think that ups the ability to perform when it comes down to it. When the time is right and the stars are aligned and you're on point with the earth and its wobble and the moon is fluxing and you're riding that line and you catch air and you fly and you manipulate yourself through space and time and energy to do something sick, which for me is a huge give back of skiing. But I don't want that to be what I'm always searching for. I just want to have the preconceived consciousness and awareness to recognize when that's about to happen and take advantage of it. And I believe for me that will come through honoring the wintertime more and the event of skiing more and the beautiful blessing of it that it is, that we have snow, that we have the ability to go out and ski on it, that people are working so hard to keep the resorts clicking, that we can go out and do this. And to me, I think there's a certain cosmic protection awarded to the communities that continue to honor Mother Earth and her cycles. And I'm not just talking about physical protection or mental protection, but I'm talking about the protection of something beautiful, which is, you know, the beautiful it's almost like unspoiled childhood bliss of what it is, Palmerell Mountain and the surrounding backcountry. Like, it's such a gem. And, you know, for a long time it was called a hidden gem, and it's still hidden from view for a lot of people. And a lot of people don't want to ski on what it has to offer because it's not, quote unquote, the rad shit. But as it's becoming more and more familiarized with people who are just looking to go out and have a great skiing experiences, which is great because, I mean, it's not about this or that. But I guess what I'm saying is, if there's a certain amount of people in the community, in the core community, honoring this place and space, my hope is that there's some cosmic protection afforded to the existence of Palmerell as a place and an idea, in the sense that you can afford to go here. There's just a little bit of like facilities. There is great snow most of the time. There's friendly faces and a reliable, good experience. And that's what I hope for, and that can be preserved and not, you know, become compromised in the age of technological databases and push buttons and digital money and God Vale resorts. You know, it's just like, for me, I couldn't love anything more than the mother-father experience of skiing. And I've seen those communities at the bigger places have to grow tighter and tighter together to the point where they're just hanging on for dear life in what's diluted as a new resort experience for the highest bidder. And I don't want to see those things go away entirely. And I mean, like, for myself, I've watched that shift happen at Grand Targhee, like, in the last 15 years, 16 years, I've watched that shift happen. And I still got a great grip of friends out there holding it down for the real ones. But it just becomes so difficult for people with that mindset to exist in those places. And my hope is that Palmerell can always be a place for people like that, that's not overran by simply, quote unquote, people going there because they think that's what's rad, when the whole point all along is just to do something rad with your friends. And it doesn't matter where you go, but often there's a scene developed in the idea of like, oh, that's where people go for the good shit. But you get enough people that go there with the misunderstanding and maybe even the respect of what skiing is, but not the reverence of what skiing is. It smothers what makes the place rad to begin with. Like, what's more rad than being able to buy a burger and fries and a beer for like 11 or 12 bucks at Palmerell, you know? Like an outdoor burger that's fucking good, not some disgusting little waste patty, is like $7, and you can get a beer and it's got all the fixins and you're on the deck and it's awesome. that's just one example of like the beauty of what that place is, you know. Or a family can bring all their kids there and not break the bank. They don't have to plan it out around, oh, this is when I bought my tickets because they're cheap. Hopefully the snow's good. No, it's like you can go on a whim when you wake up and you check the weather. Because that was like the ultimate, like, that was the ultimate ski bum thing for me when I was a kid, was looking at the weather everywhere. And I still do this with hiking, but for like skiing at a hill, looking at the weather and waking up that morning knowing where we're going. And yeah, if some place is $120 to ski, well, if I buy a ticket 3 weeks in advance for $80, it's a crapshoot on whether I get the snow, you know, which I don't know. That's a little bit of a ramble now, but, you know, my friends did that a lot where like they wake up and depending on if it was Soldier or Pebble or Bogus, well, Bogus is out of that list now, but Soldier, Pebble, Magic Mountain, or Pomerelle, you know, that's where they were going. And those are 4 places I just don't ever want to see go away. Because in some way, they're still, you know, holding this certain type of reverence to what skiing is. Which I guess what I'm getting at in my head today is that that's critical for preserving and for getting the most out of an experience that, at least for certain people, is what feeds them. So that's that. This weekend, we're doing Ski Patrol Lift Evac Refresher up at the hill. That'll be exciting. Next thing after that, or maybe it's this, I think Thursday we've got patrol meeting, and then pro night for the patrollers, which is so funny. They still don't understand. Like, I was helping with the ski swap, and I had a patroller come in looking for some skis, and I was like, well, these are the ones you liked last year. And he's like, yeah, they're pretty expensive. And like, he went around and found some other skis and bought them, whatever. But I was like, he's at the swap for the deal. And what I was trying to explain to him, I was like, bro, I know that Trent will just knock the price down on these, like, huge for you. Huge. Like, if you want to get them at pro night, they're like yours. Still went with the other ones. He didn't understand the kind of deal that people that are in the industry are going to get from the home core community ski shop. So that's kind of funny. Anyway, pro night is a night that we have for the ski school and ski patrol at my like second or third cousin's local shop. For them to get stuff for their families and everything. So it can become somewhat affordable to ski. After that, like the 4th or something is movie night. Hopefully we're skiing by then, you know. I like it when we get open, even if it's just for the weekends in November, because then I can sneak up after work, you know, and hike. Get down on the whole hike up to the top, meditate a little bit, throw on the headlamp and ski down. Or if it's, you know, the moon's bright, sometimes you don't even need the headlamp. And really hoping for some of that to be going on soon. So we'll see about that. Well, let's see what else. I think that's basically everything I feel like rambling about today because, you know, my ramblers just sort of shut off. Like, I have nothing else to ramble about. I want to make a habit out of doing a little bit more of this. I'm not totally sure of the format yet. I may not find something routine or visually routine for a minute, but I do know I want to be at least getting my thoughts out for myself and putting them somewhere. And then, yeah, I got a few other ideas in the pipe that seem really important for the history of this place. Like, right, if you want to honor something, you got to remember where it's come from and what has brought it to its fruition that it is now. And some of the stuff in my mind is kind of circling around ideas that could help do that. So anyway, there's your Vortex Research ramble for the day. Hopefully next time I'm on here, my nose will be clear. Do I need some sort of like, closeout slogan? Remember friends, ski fast, live slow.